Hello everybody, welcome back to another Conversations with Projektor. Today we only have one topic, which is Twitch changes rules for DJs. Before I go, you can contribute topics for this series on my Discord server.
Twitch just made a big changes for DJ channels. It's all legal now, but you have to share revenue and doesn't cover recordings, just live streams. Yeah, there's a few things. You cannot have clips made of your live stream. You cannot have recordings of your live stream on the VOD, the video on demand of the live stream. Which is the recording of the live stream, essentially. What's also available on my YouTube page for all of my old live streams and such. There's a 50-50 revenue split for any music that you play. And it only encompasses large labels. I think there's a group of labels that hashed out this deal with Twitch that would allow their music to be played by DJs specifically onto Twitch. My question is, why would anybody do that? Why would anybody not just take a shot at just playing the music and essentially fucking around and finding out? Because Twitch up until this point has been fairly terrible at trying to actually stop that stuff. Like, there's people right now that are playing all kinds of music and they're just speaking over it, and therefore their automated system doesn't actually pick up on the music. Because there's a lot of like low background music in there. I guess a lot of that is content-free music. At the end of the day, when it comes to us as psytrance DJs, it doesn't even matter, because our labels, or the labels that are active in the psytrance community aren't part of the deal, as far as I know. Otherwise, it would be interesting. It would maybe be interesting, but why would you give up 50% of revenue if you can just instead decide to play non-copyrighted music and get 100% of the revenue? With the amount of music that's out there now, any DJ would be able to fill a set with just copyright-free music and play whatever they want and keep 100% of the revenue, instead of giving 50% of your revenue to a record label that basically did nothing for them for that. What would be a much better deal, in my opinion, is anytime a song is played on stream, for everybody, not just for DJs, have it pop up a button with Spotify or Apple Music or Amazon Music, whatever. Twitch is obviously bought by Amazon, so that would make sense as well, where you can directly add that song to your playlist. Wouldn't that be a much better deal for the record labels, as opposed to just getting that easy cash grab? Because what that does is it essentially just discourages people playing that kind of music, because now playing that specific music will cost them revenue. Whereas if you play somebody that isn't included within that deal, or that just posts their music copyright free, you're not going to have that issue.
I think they were being allowed to get away with it because they were promising to come to a deal.
Yeah, of course, now Twitch has an incentive to more forcefully look for copyrighted material, and maybe over the last few months they have been working on like their own content ID system, their claiming system for copyrighted stuff, which would make sense if this deal is now in place. Like, one of the prerequisites of this deal to actually function is a functioning copyright detection system. At the end of the day, it is just the biggest labels exercising their power. Twitch is still in a position where they could be sued by a bunch of record labels and they could essentially be told to shut down. Still, they're not as big as YouTube at this point is so big that YouTube could fight back when they would get sued, but Twitch isn't, because Twitch is not a very big platform. Like, they have maybe a couple of million people watching at any given time, which is not a lot. YouTube is used every day by billions at this point, so they're a much bigger company. They're a much bigger player in the music space as well. Like, if labels were to go against YouTube could just say, okay, then we'll take down all of the music that you have on the platform, essentially killing what the label is providing, you know? Because then the label effectively loses a very big part of their promotion. Twitch isn't. Twitch isn't a big part of promotion for record labels. So, in my opinion, they see it more as a cash grab, where they can say, okay, we'll let you play the music, but you need to give us a lot of money to do so. Whereas for YouTube, they see more the value in just having the music on the platform. It was inevitable. Yeah, exactly. At some point, the label is just going to exercise at the end of the day, that's what they need to do. They're a company, so they need to make money, right? So at some point, they were just going to say, like, okay, now we want some money for the music that we have in our collection. only Google is above YouTube. Exactly, yeah. YouTube is a big player when it comes to promotion of music as well. I think one of the biggest, if not the biggest. Like, realistically speaking, the people of my age don't listen to radio. And at some point, TikTok is going to have the same thing, right? Because TikTok is also in hot water. And right now, the labels haven't yet realized what a massive promotion TikTok gives to music. I mean, they have realized it from that they're telling their artists to make music that could potentially blow up on TikTok. Maybe invent a little dance already for their music so that when it comes out, you can have the artist itself doing some kind of dance, and then maybe, who knows, it will blow up on TikTok kind of deal. But they probably haven't realized that if you were to take down all of the music from TikTok, which some labels are trying to do right now, that they lose that promotion, right? TikTok is just going to say, okay, if you want to pressure us, and YouTube is going to say the same thing, if you want to pressure us into getting a deal with you, and we don't like that deal, then we're just going to take all of the music that you have posted from the platform, and then you won't have any of that promotion anymore. YouTube hits you with strikes all the time, though. You can stream and upload recordings on Beatport, but the audience is mostly other DJs. I mean, YouTube's copyright system is very misunderstood. A lot of people think that YouTube is some kind of malicious actor within the content IDs, with the content ID system that they have, which they really aren't. They're just trying to follow the DMCA law. They have to do what they're doing. When it comes to a claim, it's not YouTube doing anything. It's most of the time, because I believe even with an automatic claim, what an automatic claim means is that the content was automatically found and then the claim came through by a human. Like, a human needs to sign off on an automatic claim. Yeah, it's not YouTube, it's labels. And the labels have that is one of the requirements why they were not sued by Verizon back in the day when YouTube was starting out. Because YouTube almost just got basically bombarded into nothingness by a big lawsuit by Verizon, which is an American multimedia company or whatever. Since that moment, they have seen a lot of reduction in revenue and such, but they used to be a very, very big player in multimedia. And people were just uploading their shows on there. And Verizon was saying, YouTube knows about this stuff. YouTube has to do something about this stuff. And the way that they got around that was by some section in the DMCA law. There's a specific number for it, but it's like a safe harbor provision is what it's called. Which means that YouTube essentially says, we are such a big platform, we don't know what everybody is posting. We'll try our best to create automated systems that go through it. There may be cases that will slip through the gap, and you cannot sue us for those cases, right? You cannot, if something gets posted on our website and we don't know about it yet, you cannot sue us on that basis. That is essentially what, as far as I know about the DMCA law and all of that stuff, and I'm by no means an expert, maybe that should be obvious, but maybe I should say that anyway. I'm not a legal expert, don't take this as any legal advice that I'm telling you here. But they essentially were on the brink of being sued, or maybe they were even sued, and this was one of the terms of either the settlement or how the lawsuit ended. They were arguing that they were a safe haven, and therefore they are not responsible for all of the content that is posted on their website. And that is why we as creators are responsible for that. We are responsible for the content that we post onto YouTube. And therefore, any DMCA claim doesn't go to YouTube, it goes to us. It goes to us, the creators. If there is DMCA-able content on our channel, then we get a DMCA claim. Or strike in the worst cases. Or even worse, we could get sued as individual creators. Not YouTube though. As long as YouTube doesn't know. If YouTube were to, say, take a re-upload of say somebody uploads Breaking Bad, right, to YouTube, the whole show, all of the episodes, and YouTube takes all of those episodes and put them onto trending, then a case could be made against YouTube because then they know about the content. The whole argument, the whole idea for, or the whole reason why this system works and the whole reason why YouTube is still around is because YouTube gets to argue like we don't know. That is essentially their legal argument. And that is why, when it comes to a dispute, YouTube will never mitigate that dispute. Because at the end of the day, YouTube is pulling their hands away. They don't want to know. Because if they knew, then there would be grounds of suing YouTube. Which of course they want to avoid at all costs. That's why the DMCA claims any dispute goes directly to the claimant, and YouTube never gets to see that. There's actually a great video on this for anybody that's interested in this kind of stuff. Maybe I should shout this out. It's a little bit of a long video, but if you have the time for it, then it's definitely worth it. The first one, YouTube's copyright system isn't broken, the world is. And as you can see, it's like 40 minutes and it explains all of this stuff. And this is where I get a lot of the information. Of course, you know, running a label and having done YouTube for, I say 4 years, but much longer. I know some of this stuff from other places, but this is a really good resource that explains at least the details that a normal person would need to know about how all of this works.
Record companies/artists need to get more clever about people using their music on YouTube.
That is basically the default. It is very unlikely that content actually gets removed from YouTube when it comes to copyrighted stuff. Most of the time, the revenue just gets paid to the rights owner or the rights holder. Right, so if somebody claims your video because you have some song into it, then all of the money that video would make would go to the claimant as opposed to you. And again, there has to be a reason why it has to be 100% of the revenue from that particular video, as opposed to 50-50 or some kind of other split based on maybe the length of the copyrighted content or something like that. And again, the reason for that is because YouTube isn't a mitigator and they're unaware, technically or legally, they're unaware of any of the content posted on their system. And as Des points out, this system is always going to have bad actors trying to exploit that. A while ago, maybe 2 years ago now, somebody in Mexico got arrested because essentially what they would do is they had access to the content ID system, which is not easy to get into, by the way. I'm not in there. My label isn't in there, so I wouldn't be able to protect my own copyright on YouTube, at least not through the content ID system, which is different than the copyright system that I have as a YouTuber. I can take videos down, but I cannot claim other videos as revenue. In order to do that, you need to be part of the content ID system, and this Mexican guy did somehow get access to the content ID system and was just claiming all kinds of songs that he didn't hold the rights to in any way. And he was essentially just committing fraud that way. And there's bad actors that misuse this kind of stuff. Hasn't there been some kind of trouble with content ID and splice samples? Yeah, that's another thing. Splice has made it so that multiple people use the same sounds and the content ID system doesn't really know how to handle that. In case of the splice thing, I don't think that there's any bad actors involved. I think that that's a quirk of the system. In regards to filter sweeps, at the end of the day, a human has to approve an automatic claim, right? An automatic detection only becomes a claim if a human decides that that detection needs to be acted upon. Even when I go to my copyright segment, I get, I think, a few videos. There's a few videos in here that show copyright matches. So this is like a mix that I posted. I posted the mix first to my own channel so that I could send it to somebody as like an unlisted video. And then the mix came out on the Eclipse Sound Syndicate channel. I get this kind of match for that. And I would be able to take down the video based on that. And the same is true here with my track and another track of mine that the other guy also posted on his channel. But this is all stuff that I haven't acted on, of course. But I could if I wanted to. The only thing that I can do, as far as I know, is just remove the videos from YouTube. But these are automatically matched for me, and I have to act on them. And I believe the content ID system works in the exact same way. The labels hire people just to sit around and approve everything. To be honest, I don't even think that they hire people for that. I think that they have a bot that just approves everything, at least for the first detection, and maybe even for subsequent, if you appeal it, something that they immediately deny the appeal, because you're essentially powerless against a big label like that. Especially the big labels, the mainstream labels. I would just not spend too much time worrying about that and just claim everything that you can and hark in as much money as possible. And maybe sometimes there are some appeals that you let through to a human reviewer, but realistically, what is going to happen if you just automate that and just deny any appeal that you're going to get? To be honest, I don't know. I've never been at any big record labels. I'm just speculating here. Maybe that should be clear. So I don't exactly know. That's how the Mexican guy got access. Yeah, that makes sense. That would make sense. You apply for a job like that and then you just maintain your access and then misuse it.
So that's going to be it for today. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know if you did by leaving a like and make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.